Hello everybody, welcome to this new playlist on psychology. So we'll discuss some of the major concepts in psychology. So what does it mean when you say psychology? So when most people think of psychology, they think of having deep insight as to how the mind works, to a point where you can even read someone's mind, or you can play tricks on people. You know, many people have different ideas as to what psychology means, but it so happens that the majority of the way we think of psychology is actually quite wrong. So psychology just studies the mental processes and also behavior. So we can formally describe psychology as being the scientific study of mental processes and behavior. So the word psychology itself originates from two Greek words, which are psyche and logos, where psyche means mind or soul, and then logos means the study. So conventionally speaking, psychology should be the study of the mind or the soul. What does it mean when we say behavior? So behavior refers to actions, reactions, responses that may be observed or that can be measured, right? So that's what we refer to in psychology when we say behavior. So you just need to know behaviors are of two types. We can have covert behaviors, which are non-observable, and then we can also have overt behaviors, which are observable. Then the other component is mental processes. So what do we mean when we say mental processes? Mental processes are activities of the mind. So there are two types of mental process. We have the cognitive mental process, and then we also have the affect mental processes. So the cognitive mental process, these are activities of the mind or mental processes that increase your awareness or your understanding of the world around you. So this can involve things like perception, your beliefs, your ideas, thinking, remembering, understanding, and the list goes on, and we'll be able to dissect these topics individually. And then when you talk about affect mental process, this refers to mental process that involve your feelings and your emotions. So only two things. So generally, if you isolate feelings and emotions, any other mental process will be a cognitive mental process. Yeah, so what are the major goals of psychology? So psychology aims at achieving four main goals. So 1, you need to be able to describe behavior. 2, explain behavior. 3, predict behavior. And then lastly, you should be able to change behavior. The next thing I will talk about are some of the approaches that we employ in the study of psychology. So the neurobiological approach is mainly attributed to a German psychologist by the name of Sigmund Freud. So Sigmund Freud believed that what is responsible for behavior in this type of psychology is our body, specifically the actions of the brain and the central nervous system. And then when you talk about the behavioral approach, you have so many characters here. You have characters such as Ivan Pavlov. We have characters such as B.F. Skinner. Characters such as John Watson. We'll be able to dissect what each and every one of those characters did. But for now, just a quick overview. So in the behavioral approach, we believe that behavior results from the environment. In other words, the environment can influence individuals to behave a particular way. The next approach is called the psychoanalytical approach. So in the psychoanalytical approach, we also credit Sigmund Freud. Sigmund Freud had a lot of influence here. So this was a school of thought that believed that behavior results from the unconscious mind, or from unconscious inborn or innate instincts. You know, so Sigmund Freud also believed in the idea that experiences that we go through, or let's say experiences of the past, can be repressed in our subconscious mind, in our unconscious mind, and then these experiences can manifest at later days, right? So he believed that our behavior results from the actions of our unconscious mind. So that unconscious mind is the one responsible for our behavior here. And then we have the humanistic approach. The humanistic approach, major pioneer of this approach was Carl Rogers. So Carl Rogers taught that human beings are responsible for their own actions and for their own destiny, that we have the power to shape our own destinies, right? And so in this approach, who's responsible for behavior? It's the self, right? Each individual human being is responsible for behavior. The next one is the cognitive approach. So in the cognitive approach, we believe that behavior results from the mental processes that occur in our minds. And then lastly, we have the elective approach. In the elective approach, this one is an approach that has the idea that there's no better approach to study psychology, and instead a combination of all these approaches could be used. And so that will conclude the first video.